A quick overview of the Elderton Command vertical that we looked at last night, 99 through to 2007. The 99, the corks were all rock hard and dry, so it took a fair bit of skill in picking to get them out of the bottle. And we found, well, I certainly found, looking in the beginning of the night, a lot of just funky, horrible nose. And the wine itself still had some kind of measure of acidity in it. So I was ready to actually write it off. We then poured them and looked at them probably about 2 hours after they were in the glass. And they actually held together quite well. I still think that the wines were not showing at their finest hour, but still definitely drinkable. The 2000 was definitely softer, lighter, more fragrant, more feminine wine, kind of shorter, didn't give the length that you experienced in the 99 and subsequent vintages after that. Wasn't my favorite of the night, but okay. 2001 showed a lot better than I was expecting it to. Lots of brightness and freshness, and that beautiful sort of signature Command style is definitely in there. The 2002 on the numbers should probably have been a better wine, but I think last night the 201s showed better than the 202s, and we looked at 5 different bottles of each, so it was a fair library of wines from each vintage. Then the 2003 was the surprise of the night for me. I guess it just goes to show old dogs and new tricks, but a lot of the 2003s that have come out over time have been disappointing because there was just so much water in South Australia in that vintage, and it was a really tricky year. From a theoretical point of view, if anyone made a good wine in 2003, it had a lot to do with the skill of the winemaker, and that's why it's a vintage that I am always particularly interested in. And undoubtedly, they nailed it with their 2003 Command. I don't think I've seen this vintage from Command before, and I was really impressed and pleased with how it was standing and how it was looking. 2004, much more structured, savory, showing confidence for the future in a different kind of way than the 2003. They definitely showed different kind of form and structure at this point. Probably my favorite wine of the night was 04. 2005 is the big points rater, and obviously very popular with collectors and consumers. But putting 5 and 4 next to each other, I opted back to 4, thinking that the 05 was showing all the classic stuff that gave it the 97 points from Wine Advocate. You know, fruit, structure, body, and zing. But I actually think that 04 is going to go longer and better than the 05 over time. Again, this is a personal opinion, and I'm sure I'm going to get rocks thrown at me for these opinions, but certainly I'm feeling quite resilient about how I feel about the wines. Having looked at so many bottles last night, there were about 40 bottles open over the spread of vintages. Then the 2006 is a good wine, but not as exciting. I don't know if that's the right word, but just not as inspiring as 4 and 5. And the 2007, early days, but I'm really liking where it's heading. It's in Stelvin. Well, not in Stelvin, that other sort of artificial sealing cap. So it showed differently, I guess, for that reason, as well as the fact that it was the youngest wine of the night. But I'm feeling confident that over time, that's going to show really well and be a fairly classic reflection of what makes Elderton Command so good. So sorry about the lengthy one here, but I'm really glad to have actually put this down in some sort of reasonable thought for my own purposes more than anything else. Cheers.